Business, a person's occupation, profession, or trade. Connection, a relationship in which a person or idea is linked or associated with something else. Welcome to Business Connection. Each week, our program will offer inspiration to navigate the business world. Information you can use to succeed in any field. And we will help you focus on your goals. Join us now for Business Connection with your host, B.C. Clark.
Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to the Business Connection. As you know, I interview business owners across the state and out of state as well. My guest today is Lisa Tavizon, the first woman Latino owner of Unity Title Company. Welcome to the show.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's so nice to have you here. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah. So I am born and raised here in Omaha. So I've always lived here in our community. So that's probably the best part
That's
for
a plus.
me. Yeah. My parents both are Mexican immigrants, and they've been here since, my mom was 5. My dad came here when in his early teens. So
Okay.
yeah.
Wow.
I have a brother. I have 3 kids.
Yeah.
Most of my close family is here in
Is
town
here
as
now.
well.
Oh, awesome. That
Yeah.
makes it easier.
Oh, absolutely.
Especially when you have projects and things you want to do. So how was that journey becoming the title company? So let's just talk about that a
jump
little
right
bit.
into that
Yeah.
one. So this will be my 23rd year in title.
Oh, wow.
So as I think about it, I'm like, okay, well, I've had quite the journey. I started through a temp agency working for a title company right out of high school. I had graduated. I had my first son, started at that title company, and just kept moving along, going through those motions. The previous title company that I was at, I was there for 16 years. So I learned a lot.
Yeah. And so, when we talk about the why, some people say, why did you start a business or whatever? Yours was that you walked right into one and loved it.
I do.
And been in it ever since.
I've worked in a lot of different departments. I ended up staying in escrow mainly.
Okay.
Because of this.
Yes.
Connection is huge for me.
Yeah.
I feel like that was one of my biggest hurdles as I was growing in the business, because I was a little bit more, I'm going to say timid, and everybody that hears that is going to be like, Lisa's not timid.
Yeah.
But, it gets out of your comfort zone.
Sure.
It's not something that you practice as much. So I practiced it a lot. And I've always loved people. So at the end of the day, it was one of those things where it was like, okay, I'm continually looking for that next step. What am I going to do next?
Yeah.
We talked last night about our whys, and I have 3 kids. So they are my why. They are why I keep pushing and keep doing. And
Yes.
so, yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. So as a business owner, what were some of the things that you maybe saw or maybe hindered you in some of the things that you was trying to get going, and being a woman as well? Okay?
Yeah. So I
Let's
think
speak on some of that.
for me, I was one of the only women that was continuing to move along in the company. Along the way, we did have more women join our leadership team and things like that. But at the end of the day, when you're in a room with men,
I've been there.
you have to continue to work on elevating and being heard, I think, is the biggest thing. As I said, I am a little bit more timid. I definitely have thoughts, and I definitely have, ideas of the way that I want things to be done. But I think it's one of those things that I've had to practice is how can I be heard? How can I make sure that my leadership and my team feels heard as well?
Right.
Because I'm not only speaking for myself.
Right. And I think it's really important, as women, and I'll just expound on that just a little bit, is that we have to make sure that our voice is out there, because I think for so long we've sat back and we've allowed other people, men, to make decisions. When I first started in IT, which was when it was very few women and no blacks women in IT. Actually, I started back in 1977 to date myself. But I remember it was a man's world, a white man's world at that point in time. And I started out where we were writing like mini programs for some of the data entry folks. And then as time went on, I went into systems, and then I got into management. But it was like, that's how the climb was. But I also remember that there was a lag in in time where I was training a lot of men,
Mm-hmm.
and they were being promoted over me, and it wasn't like one day something snapped,
Yeah.
And then I was like, nope, not doing this more. But then I remember something too. I remember when I went home, and I was just so angry, and I started reading the Bible. Sometimes that's where I get my. And I read a scripture that said, promotion comes from the Lord. He sets one down and he puts one up.
Mm.
And that was revelation for me.
Yeah.
Along with that, I realized that he doesn't promote you until he prepares you.
And
So
I
all
agree with
that,
that.
yep.
I agree with that.
And all the time I was training other people. Well, look, I'm a trainer right now.
Mm-hmm.
So, sometimes, we need to listen. We have to stop sometime.
Mm-hmm.
But that was a change in everything. My voice was heard. And exactly 2 weeks later, I was promoted over to a division that I never looked back for promotion,
Mm-hmm.
And I said, I'm never gonna run after promotion again. I'm just gonna do what I'm supposed to do, and he'll promote.
Yeah.
That's how I feel today. I don't
Mm-hmm.
feel like I never have to run behind promotion or money, because if I'm doing what he's called me to do, that's gonna come.
I agree.
So that's how I feel. But I just need to share that, because sometimes, there is a time when we have to snap out of things, and sometimes it could be something that you just all of a sudden.
Yeah.
The storm has done happened now,
Mm-hmm.
and they were trying to figure out what they had done wrong. It was like, because I flipped, I was like,
It was
computer,
time.
yep.
Yeah.
But I think that I think it's important too that we say, when women are the first at something, because it's really important that other women and other girls know that we have somebody now we can follow if we want to go in this particular industry. And I think that's what's really important. And that's why I like to say it first. She's the first Latina woman to own a title company.
Thank you.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, and I feel like for me sometimes I'm just doing what I'm called for,
Yep.
and the community has always been something that tugs on my heart, and
Yeah.
knowing that I can help in my, whatever it is that
Yes.
I'm doing, that means a lot to me.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
I get to meet the best people. I get to work with the best people.
Isn't that
So,
something?
mhm.
And to serve, because that's what we're called to do.
Oh, absolutely.
And he give us these skills, these talents, these abilities, so that we could serve his people. So whatever that industry is that he's put us in, and we found out what our purpose is, then that all works together to make things happen for all that's involved.
Yeah.
And so when you think of community, I think of community, even though this isn't a community that I grew up in, it is a place that I've been here years. I've raised my children here, grandchildren here, and I feel really close to the community. I'm from Louisiana, actually.
Okay.
And so, but I've been here so long that, that's kind of like,
Yeah.
but I still care a lot about the community. I care about the business community a lot. I really would love to see more resources that are really targeted to help, as opposed to, and I'm not saying giving a hand down. I'm looking for education and resources up, okay? And so, but I see that it seems like the people that have the resources, they want to put so many restrictions on the people that are already struggling anyway.
Right.
And that, I just have a hard time with that. And so when my values aren't lining up with other folks, I have to move a shift in a different way. To see how I can help without that. Because the whole thing is that, how do we get ahead if we've been, pushed back? We need some kind of step up that we can be equal and then start moving.
Yeah. Yeah, and I agree with that. And I feel like, as we talk about the community, our office has 4 bilingual employees, so we all are Spanish speaking. Sorry, 3. 3 of our 4 are Spanish speaking.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the biggest things for me is when a customer comes in and they're like, I've purchased other properties and this is the first closing that I know what I'm signing. That to me, I can't tell you. It's one of those things that has stuck with me, and it's one of the things that is one of my whys, is if it's the little things that I can do that my family
Change
passed on to
somebody's
me.
life.
Yeah. It means a lot to me.
It's nothing like it.
They come back, they ask for assistance. If there's something that we can do, resourceful, education, anything like that. I mean, we talk about the connections we make. I don't have the answers to everything, but
none of us do.
Yeah. So most oftentimes I can pretty much lead them in the right direction, you know, and I think that's
You
one
can
of the big
connect them
things.
to where they need to go.
Yeah.
and that's really important. I think that you're so right, because in my experience with working in the community and with, small businesses and things, and have people come in, and for the first time they're able to get a loan. For the first time, someone is not talking down at them, but understanding, hey, I understand.
Yeah.
I've been there. I totally understand where you are, but I have that compassion to understand that yes, they've been turned down a lot, but do everybody have to turn them down? You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
And if they come, they're looking for, and number one, they're coming already with their head hung down because they feel like it's another.
Yeah. We don't all like to ask for help.
Yeah.
So if we do it and we're given a door, or we're shut down, or we don't feel good about it, we don't want to come back.
No.
You know?
And then they say, well, why are they just buying everything in cash? Well, because they don't want their feelings hurt. They don't want to be said no.
Yeah.
And then you put them through a whole lot of hoops, and at the end of the hoop say, well, nah, we don't think it's a good idea. That's not right.
Yeah.
And so I just, so I try to work on the other side of trying to make sure that I can get whatever it is that they need through different channels, and so that because it hurts my heart when, a young lady called me, and this was just last month. And so she had already gotten a place. She spent all her money getting everything prepared. There was a building that they basically helped her just get this restaurant thing going inside this building.
Okay.
And it was going to be serving the people in the building. And she called in December and she said, I just need $1,500 to get the inventory. And she had been $1,500 and she had been everywhere. And so I said, let me talk to, and so I talked to a few people. When you think about that, here she was, everything had set, she spent all her money, got the refrigerators and all that stuff in, and now she just needed $1,500 to get the inventory.
Right.
Because whatever happened, I can't remember what it was, but she just couldn't get enough to cover the inventory. But to see that come to fruition was really,
I bet.
and those are the things that, I always say, if I don't gamble, but if I ever won the lottery or something, I would have a reserve for those type of things. Somebody that needs $20,000 just to, or $15,000 just to,
Yeah.
that's in my heart, and I feel like that is something, because that's what we're supposed to do.
It's rewarding to know that you can help in whatever way it is that you can.
Yeah.
I would agree with that.
Yeah, it's not about, trying to be equal to Jones or whatever. It's about being able to use those talents, those skills, and your influence to help people.
Well, especially with somebody who is so passionate about what they want to do. They know that they need to make those extra little steps to get the doors open or whatever their situation is.
Right.
And you were the one that helped them kind of bring that passion to life. So
I just said, hey, yeah, it happened, and there you go.
Yeah.
We don't need to. And I just said, God, thank you so much. That's who I think.
I think that's one of the things that our team loves about closings, because we're the last people they see.
Right.
So they're getting keys, they get to sign, they're planning their move. And so for us, we get to hear all the great stories, and we know
that's so good.
Behind the scenes, maybe a lot has happened, to get to that point.
Sometimes it's a journey.
Oh, yeah.
Getting there. And sometimes you get right to the door, and then all of a sudden a kink happens, and they're like, oh, God. But yeah, so it's so rewarding. And that's why I always wonder, how is it that some people don't see it the way we see it? You know what I mean? They're trying to decide, well, let's see what else, what other wrench can I throw in here so that they can't do it. I'm thinking, what is your life going to be if you continue down that road?
If that's what you're putting out there.
It's really, really hard. But so talk a little more about you, the organization that.
Yeah. So Unity Title is a escrow and closing office. We handle all residential and commercial closings. We work with a lot of great real estate agents here in town. We can cover Nebraska and Iowa. Iowa's a little bit newer to us in a sense of we just got licensed there.
Over there,
so
okay.
We've had experience in that area. We have a lot of great customers there as well. So
That's
just
so awesome.
continuing to grow that side of it.
Yes.
So we're excited. We're about to be 2 years in June. So it's
Congratulations.
Thank you. It's been it's been an incredible journey. I have a lot of people who will ask me, well, are you upset that you made that decision? And I'm like, there's not a day that goes by that I'm upset.
You probably say, I'm getting paid to do this. Why?
Yeah,
That's
no,
my
yeah,
why. Why
it's
am I getting
great.
paid to do
Yeah,
this?
I love it. I love what I do. I love who
Yeah.
I work with. I have an incredible team.
Oh, yeah.
You talk about sharing a vision and everybody just kind of knowing. And I think
Yeah.
we've all worked together for so long, and I think we all have our different specialties,
Sure.
you know, and so I think that's one of the great things that we can all support each other best. I'm out here doing this meeting with you, but the team is still working hard back at the office.
Yeah.
So,
But we have to, you
Yeah.
know, and not only that, but they're growing too. So, you know, they're going to branch out, you know. So as they help you grow, then
yeah.
now all of a sudden now you have another unity title somewhere else, you know.
that's the plan.
That
That's
is the plan.
Oh,
Yes.
it's in the vision.
You know,
I
and
can't be in
that's
this
a
cult
beautiful part of
forever.
it, you know, to see the people that have grown with you and help you get here now. They're, you know, now they are, what do you call it, a franchise, and now, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they're happy because that's what they've done for however many years they've been there, and that's what I think that's what the ecosystem is about. That's what that entrepreneur ecosystem is all about. It's about hiring people and then watching them grow as well, you know, and just keep that growing and keep that growing. Unfortunately, so many people don't have that vision. But when they talk about the ecosystem, I'm not sure why we don't see that in the plan.
Yeah.
You know, we talk about, oh, this resource, that resource, but it's really about getting that first one, all the things that they need. So now they can hire people. Now they are growing those people. Now, you know what I mean? It's just
Using us as the guinea pig. You
Yes,
know?
yes.
We have marketing in our office, and she's doing an incredible job. She's opened her own business
Yeah.
since us opening the office.
That's-
So,
that's so
she gets to
great.
use Unity as her guinea pig, and it's just great.
It's awesome. That's amazing. And that's what, you know, and I think that's what it is. I think when people say, you know, why are you always happy all the time?
Yeah.
Well, you know, they may not know that you have things going on in your head. They may not know what your family, anything that's going on. Because I really believe that everybody don't need to know what's happening
Yep.
by your face. You know, I think you come out every day with that face of like, you know, thank you, Lord, for waking me up. Thank you, Lord, for where I'm going today. Thank you for opening up the doors, the opportunities, the contracts that are coming my way. You walk out that door and that's it.
Yeah.
And you'll be surprised at what happens. And so I am a person, I am happy all the time. You know, even when I don't feel good, I'm happy because it could be so much different.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, and I feel like that's also what we project, right? So if I'm projecting to my team or to my peers or
Yes.
anybody something different, I don't want to give that. You know, I would rather somebody walk away and be like, oh, okay, I feel, you know,
Yeah.
maybe I feel a little bit better. She's smiling, I can
Just
smile.
about, yes, yes. And I think, you know, sometimes you see people and it's like, I'm afraid to say anything to them because I'm afraid I'm going to get a whole big soft story. And sometimes it just really brings down my energy.
Oh,
If someone comes up and they're complaining for a long time, I usually have to get away from them because it really does. It bogs me down. And I was like, it's like a fog that comes on me when someone is doing that. Or if I'm in a presentation and someone is monotone, I can't. I hate to,
Yeah.
but I need energy
Yeah.
because I'm trying to learn and pick up stuff.
I think it's how you give it and how you receive it. I would say I'm the exact same.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's an energy thing.
It is. And you know, someone said, well, you know, everybody can't be like you. And I said, oh, I don't want them to. You know, I said, but this is me and I can't, you know, so you finish taking the notes and bring them to me. Because I can't do it. But I love people. I love people.
Yeah.
And, you know, I love greeting people, you know. And sometimes when I greet them, things come in my head about them right away.
Oh, yeah.
And sometimes that's hard. So I start praying, you know, whatever. But because you never know. You just never know. But I think that when people see you smiling, it kind of helps them, you know, changes their day, I think. And so I'm always smiling. Maybe I should stop smiling, but sometimes that's why I'm going to have these wrinkles from my smile.
Those are the good wrinkles. Those are the good ones.
But yeah, no, I think that, so what do you think about all the stuff that's going on right now in our community with business? What things are you seeing? What things are you hearing? What things would you like to see different in our communities?
So we actually have the BREP meeting that you attended yesterday.
I love that.
I love it. It gives me a ton of hope for our community.
Yes.
With the initiatives that they have going on in regards to not only educating each other on what we do, but also how do we bring that to the community? And we're
Yes.
all in the same business, and you have all of these people in one room who
I know.
share a vision and are not
Talent.
competitive. It's like,
Amazing talent
yeah, how can
and
we share
beautiful
it?
women. I was so blessed
Yeah.
to be in that audience yesterday, and I felt so free.
Yeah.
I really did. I just felt free, and I, I was like, I wanted to kept taking me on tangents, but I was so glad that I could get through the 4 topics, that was there, and it was like, I hope I did good.
did great. You did great.
And just bringing that information, just to bring insight. And I'd love to see us do more things because I have a couple of like credit building classes for practitioners. So if people ever come in your office and they're like, well, I can't, can't get to the bank because you're the last one, so you probably won't get them. But you might know of someone.
Yeah.
I have, so anyone that's counseling people on credit, I have a couple of classes that I'm going to do. And it's for my, I have to do like one free for certification for practitioners. And so I'm doing one in February, at the beginning of February, like I think around the 5th or 6th. And then there's another one like in the middle. But the first one is free. And that's just because I have to do one, and it's like a charity thing with the organization with CBA. But I want to get that one done. So even if some of the realtors are in there that might want to just understand more about credit, it would be great for them. So let me know, as I want to try
share
to
your
have
flyer
like
with
10
me.
to 15 people. I will. 10 to 15 in that class. And so I'm going to do it. It's 4 hours, so they need to make sure, but it is packed with a lot of stuff that they would be able to take back to their community, take back to other people, so that they're able to get them to a point where when they're ready to buy a home, they understand what they need. And it's deep. I mean, it really gives them more insight than they would ever get just going to a regular class.
Well, and you heard the story yesterday about one of our realtors who she's adamant about purchasing property now because she didn't grow up knowing that.
Right.
And so I feel like knowing that you can open that door not only for yourself, but for your family and for other people that you get to encounter.
Yes.
That's one of the things that we're huge on. So we provide a lot of education.
Yes.
Not only to the realtors, but also to the community. It's open.
Yes.
We have a lot right now of partners that are wanting to do Spanish speaking seminars just because I feel
And
like
I have that in Spanish. I'll just have to have one of your Spanish speakers probably do that presentation.
Yeah.
So we can talk about that. Yeah, I would love to do that. I have that one in Spanish, and then I have a small business credit. I have it in Spanish and in English as well. And then I have the business plan is not in Spanish, but I've done it with a couple of the people that do speak Spanish, and they just interpret, and people have their books and things like that. So I mean, we can connect on a lot of those things that we're doing. I would love to do that.
Yeah,
I think that would be
absolutely.
really awesome. And then any of the things, the boot camp for business planning, all of that stuff is so available.
Yeah.
And I would love to. I love the group. I love the energy, of the group. And I think, even if just in doing some events where we just kind of really come together and collaborate and show the community that it's not just a here or there, but it's a, it's a collaboration with us. And I feel like I'm part of it. I'm not a realtor, but I told Diva,
We're in it together.
I said, I'm part of this group.
Yes.
And she said, you are. I was like, because I just feel like I'm at home with this group. So, but I think that that's really good, and to, when you get in a room like that, women bring so much to the table, and to be able to sit and just network with them. And I didn't get a chance to do a lot of networking with everybody last night. A lot of people said, I'm going to call you and stuff like that. But I love us to have like a networking event where we can just jam.
Mingle.
Yes, just mingle. That was really good at the press club. I really love that.
Oh, yeah.
That was so good. I met quite a few of them at that event.
I would say stay tuned. There's definitely going to be a
more
lot
coming.
more. Oh, yeah. They have some great plans. So I'm
that's
excited.
great.
Yeah, it's a great group to be a part of. So.
Oh, yeah. Well, just count me in.
Yes.
Like with Latinas Unidas, I always say Latinas Unidas in one. But I've been in, I've practically lived in South Omaha because I was on MLCDC board for like 6 years.
Okay.
So I'm just embedded in the community, and so that's why I'm so involved with Diva and the Hispanic Chamber. But I love all that. I have no respect to person.
Yeah.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
that's just my motto.
Yeah.
But what are some of the other things that you would like, because I know I get to talking, but what are some of the things that you would like to see different? Or what resources that you don't see available to small business owners that you kind of wish was available?
So, as far as wishing it was available, I hear you talk about some of the different programs and things like that. I know that there are different entities within the community that do provide that support. I think my situation was probably just a little bit different. I was I prepared for prepared for my move, so
Yes,
it was a little bit different for me. But just hearing about the lady that you spoke to in December, I know that there's different organizations that are out there ready and willing to help. And I think the biggest thing is connection. I think as long as you don't close the door on yourself and you don't see those roadblocks and think, oh, I can't move forward, reach out, you know, start to connect and start to
say
figure out.
that loud. Say, tell people what you need.
Yeah.
Let us know what it is that you need, because if we don't know what the need is, it's hard for us to provide it for you.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
And that's for any, you know, anyone out there that's going into business, that think they want to go into business, that starting up a business. Don't just stay in a shell and say, well, I'm just going to open my business and people are going to come. They're not. They're not. You need to connect. You need to network. You need to really start that now if you plan to start a business within 6 months.
And I think a big thing for at least probably my age group is mindset. I think we were brought up to keep your problems to yourself. If you're
don't
trying
talk
to,
about don't talk
So
about anything in the
if you're planning your business and you think, I'm on my own, I got to do this on my own, I got to figure it out. Really, truly, you don't.
You don't.
There's people like myself, like BC, other people that I know that are ready and willing to support.
Yes.
Like you said last night, share your vision.
Yes.
You know, maybe other people have great input and would be more than willing to share that. And I have learned that within the last 2 years is I don't have to keep it to myself. I
don't
can
have
share
to
it.
keep it. I think, you know, and you, especially you want to be careful, you know, get into the group that you trust, and then be able to talk things out with them, because they love you and they want to see you successful, especially that group last night. If you went to any one of them, they would be willing to, oh yeah, they'll just step out, you know, to help. So it's been awesome.
Thank
with
you.
Give us one point before we have to go. Just one point of maybe how to continue to grow, be successful, or start up.
I think this right here is my challenge.
Okay.
Connection. I think
Connection.
that was my takeaway from last
That's
night.
right.
I already do the networking. I already do connection, but I don't do enough. And so this is a challenge for me, and I appreciate you inviting me here today because
Awesome.
and pushing me to come here today, because let's be honest, I was like, ooh, I don't know. But that's the
It's
biggest
been awesome.
thing.
Thank you so much, Lisa.
Thank you.
Lisa Tavizon, Unity Title Company, Latina woman. She's ready to go. Thank you
Thank
guys
you.
for joining us. We'll see you soon.
Thank you.